10:30, be back. Spin that back show, all the classics on track. From 79 to 99, we're crossing the gap. Album reviews, little known facts, hip hop intact. Saturday mornings, dive into the history. Samples and stories, old school mysteries. From early South static, Shiraz and CBD. Blow up out of beam. Turn it up, let the vinyl spin. 10:30 sharp, where the stories begin. From the golden era, treasures within. Spin that back show every Saturday when we break it down, the legends and the lore, every beat, every rhyme. Uncover more, from Grandmaster Flash to Nas's Raw. We're bridging the past, hip-hop's core.
Spin that back. That's what the show is here, and this is where we at. Check it out. What's going on, Mr. Nice Guy?
Chilling, brother. Pushing forward. Let's do this. Represent NWA.
Yes, sir. We talking about NWA today. But they say they was the world's most dangerous group. Yes, sir. So let's just jump on into it. Glad to be back after a couple of weeks. We're finna bring it to you. So yeah, we're gonna talk about NWA. So let's go back to the old school. Where they at? Ooh.
Hold on a second. We're not gonna shout out the MC that laid it out for us for the theme. You want to give some props?
No. That's my homeboy Allen Iverson.
There you go.
That's who did that. Yeah, Allen Iverson did that for me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. You know, he don't want no props just yet. You say you want to see his response before he gets some props.
Gotcha.
We're gonna talk to him later. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
He's anonymous, infamous. That's his name. Yeah. Anyway, so yes, sir. So we're gonna talk about NWA. Let's go back, like I say. Start off with these cats here. It was actually one more, Arabian Prince. But who we got here? We got Mr. Ice Cube, number one to the left. Got Dr. Dre, Eazy-E, DJ Yella, MC Ren. NWA. Back in the day. First NWA song I think I heard was probably Boys in the Hood, I think. Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say. Boys in the Hood was the first song I heard.
And it was just Eazy-E, so we knew it as Eazy-E. Because then we heard Dope Man, but that was still Eazy-E. So it was NWA, but it was Eazy-E.
Mm-hmm.
So Eazy-E was really the first release for them, in a sense. Because you did have, they had that one album, NWA and the Posse. We got that one up here? Let me see. Yeah, NWA and the Posse, right?
Yep.
Which was put together songs, but like I said, we heard, no, they don't have that tracks on here. Dope Man, Boys in the Hood, Fat Girl, and A-Ball. Oh yeah, and A-Ball. Those was the songs. And all those except Fat Girl, really. Fat Girl was like, yeah, whatever. But the rest of those, street songs. When was the first time you heard NWA / Eazy-E?
It definitely started with Boys in the Hood. I mean, he starts it off perfect. I always say that, a key to having a really great song is like the opening bars that set it off. And I mean, that's, everything about that song. I understand that my orientation was more East Coast. Those were the people that I dealt with, from breakdancing to music and stuff like that. But, that Boys in the Hood and Dope Man, they resonated with me instantly. I remember me and Brick Walls used to debate because he thought that Eazy had a better rapping voice. And I thought Ice Cube had a better rapping voice. And the thing about it was dope is that they both had really good rapping voices. As a lot of times these MCs, they spit bars and stuff like that. But some people got really good voices that resonate, like Chuck D. So, you just got to give it, props to that. So, I mean, it resonated.
Right. Because Eazy had a unique voice and Cube just had the commanding voice. But yeah, Eazy did have a good voice for it. And the songs was just right. It just sounded right. Everything was just on time. They didn't even call it what y'all know it as gangster rap. It was called reality. It was speaking reality. It was telling you about what's really going on in these streets. So to be real with that, everything that they talked about, they was telling like stories. Like they was writing novels. That's what they were. And that's why Cube was so good at making movies and everything, because he was already doing that with the the songs he was writing, because he wrote 8 Ball and Boys in the Hood, you know, and all that stuff was just exactly what you see going on out there. So, you know. But how old was you when all this came out?
Oh, I wouldn't even. I have to do the math. What year was it?
86, 87. That's when I first heard of it.
Okay, so 86.
That'd be like 87. Like 87
Yeah.
for sure.
So I was 87. I was about 16 years old, 16, 17. So yeah, you know. So yeah, but yeah, I remember that, you know, DJing and stuff like that. You know, shout out to my brother Marcellus Royal. He was really the person that was relaying all the records. You know, we had K-Day, so if you sit around long enough, you was gonna catch something on your tape. But we was getting a lot of vinyl because he was buying a lot of vinyl. He fell into some money and he was on top of all that stuff. So as a DJ, we was loaded with music and you know, we had that stuff. So you know, shout out to my brother.
Right. When did My Melody come out? That was 87, right? Or 86?
No Tricks in 86. It's Time to Build. I feel like that was 86. But he could have just been, that rhyme could have been from 86. But you know,
no, that's Eric B as president though.
Yeah, but that's the flip side. My Melody was on the flip side of that
real?
song. Yes,
okay,
yes,
so it was 86. Okay, so it was 86.
Yeah, that was Marley Marl and MC Shan produced both of those songs. So yeah, you know.
Right. True that. True. Yeah, because they had sampled it. That's why I'm trying to figure it out. I'm like, okay, but they had sampled it right after it came out. Because those days when you're young, I'm telling you, the months seem like years to you. For me, you know, time was just it was going by slow to me because it was just so much going on. Now it's just, I don't know, it's different.
Hey, real quick, my father has a theory about this. He goes like, when you're 10 years old, a year represents like a 10th of your life. So it's a big thing. He says, but when you're 20 years old, a year is only a 20th. So that's why these years, every year seems like it's getting smaller and shorter and quicker. It's just because now it's far less of a percentile of your life. So, you know, that's his take. And I that's probably right.
Yeah, man. Where's my spin that back? Where's it? Yeah, there you go, man. That's so real. Yeah, that's the realest thing I ever heard. But yeah. So I was like, had to be about 14, 13, 14, hearing this stuff. And like, man, this was like life-changing. Yeah, 14, 15. Yeah.
And you was in that life, so it hit you a little bit different. You know, I grew up around that stuff, but it's a difference between growing up amongst it and growing up in it. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's a difference. And then we always talk about, you know, we joke about it, but there's a big difference between the West Side and the East Side, you know, so.
True. Oh yeah. Especially in those days.
Yeah. So those experiences are different.
Oh, especially in those days, because exactly what they were saying is exactly what was going on, and even more. It was just crazy because it was like a soundtrack to what was happening. Actually, you know, you had your music. Everybody, you know, got your music. You know, you got your little soundtrack, but then you got a unique soundtrack to what's really going on right now. You know, you play that on the corner. It's like, this is exactly what we doing. It's like, what? Well, not me, but you know what I see. It was like, wow. Anyway, yeah, it was reality rap for real. Yeah. So if you wasn't in it, you can kind of vicariously live through it. But that was some good music though. So all that stuff right there, and then they happened to happen on Eazy-E. They knew Eazy-E was a star. I don't know how they knew it, but he had that voice, and everybody loved it. So he dropped the whole album. Eazy Does It. And if you don't know about Eazy Does It, go get that album. Great album. What you know about Eazy Does It?
Yeah, there's some joints on there that I definitely rock with. You know, I remember. Let's see. I was just playing it earlier today because he, you know, one thing I liked about that on the West Coast. Now, get it at 86, 87. I was a really active DJ. You know, former breakdancer at that point, and one thing about the West Coast, we was really about scratching and mixing and all this other stuff. Because, you know, Dr. Dre, he had them swap meet, them rhodium swap meet mixes and stuff that was circulating around and stuff like that. And you're talking about mega mixes. So in a lot of these songs, you know, they're like, it's just a lot of samples, a lot of scratches, a lot of mixes and stuff like that. Because, you know, that was before they was really getting busted about that. Before, you know, they had to pay for it. Once you had to pay for samples and stuff like that, you know, that stuff kind of went away. But I mean, there was special joints on there with that because you know, the Take It Easy, I think that was one of the ones that you know really kind of did that. And I know he kind of mixed it up a little bit on the radio too, but you know, But you know, the main ones. Again, the most classic song on there to me is "Boys in the Hood." Welcome to the party, pal.
What up? What up? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
We,
Yes,
can hear
sir.
you. We can't
up?
see your hat, but we see you.
I'm gonna tell you what. Easy Does It album was a classic album. The only reason why I'm gonna skip over the NWA and the Posse is because it wasn't really a real album. It was kind of like some songs kind of thrown together and everything. They made it like a compilation. It wasn't an official release. It was like kind of like an underground bootleg thing. It became whatever it was after they got distribution after time. But actually there's some good stuff on there too, because when you want to hear the original, not Boys in the Hood, but what's that one song? Is it Boys in the Hood or 8 Ball? No, Dope Man, the original Dope Man. The original Dope Man is on that album. The other one that you get is the remix.
Yeah.
That's on the Straight Outta Compton. But,
And you
just
said
little
that
jewels
they
like
had
that.
the Feel a Fresh crew. You said that the DLC was part of that.
Oh yeah, DLC was part of the Feel a Fresh crew, like 3 the Hard Way, songs like that. Yeah,
I'm telling you, just that name right there, that was so LA. You had to be there at the time, but I'm just telling you, man.
Feel a Fresh
man.
crew.
Yeah, I'm just saying that. Just to name yourself the Feel a Fresh crew. I'm just
But you know
saying,
what?
Feelers was a big
That's
West Coast
actually
thing.
yeah, but that was actually from Dallas though.
Oh, is that right? I'm just telling
I
you.
don't know. I think that was his. Don't hold me to this. I might have to do the research, but I know he was from Dallas, and I think that was his crew.
Mhm.
And Dre convinced him to come out here. You know, he was like, "Dude, if you was on the West Coast, man, we can get rich." Next thing you know,
The
a few
legend.
months later, he came out here, started helping with that Easy album. See, yeah, and that's where he started getting this thing at, because he had wrote like Radio. I don't know what else he wrote, but I know he wrote Radio. He probably wrote some other songs on here too. You know, Cube did a lot of his writing and stuff. I think even Dre even wrote a song on here.
Really? I didn't know he was at
What song did Dre write?
Yeah, I didn't know he was at that point yet. You sure he didn't just get credit?
Yeah.
Well, that's what it is. You know, I think he wrote one of these songs. He just said,
And when we talk about, we're going to talk about NWA and all the offshoots and like that, but we kind of got to talk about the origins and stuff like that. You can't really leave out, the world-class wrecking crew and, and setting out all stuff up, because, Lorenzo, he was a big part of all of this stuff. So,
I mean, yeah, but that's going right. You know what?
You know what NWA stand for, right?
Not without Alonzo.
Not without Alonzo. That's right. Shit.
Okay, Charles X said, what did he say? I
Black
don't know
Fist.
what that is. Okay.
Black Fist.
Yeah, I can't really see it through these glasses, I guess. You know what I'm saying? My
Black
bad.
Fist.
I got new glasses. I can actually see now. My dog shoot up my other ones.
Yeah, and I'm just senile, so it's all right.
If he would have put three of them up, I'd assume he was saying fight, fight, fight.
Oh boy.
Hey, let me give him one of those. That's right.
But,
Okay,
hey,
but yeah, I want to give Lonzo his own little props, because Lonzo is responsible for a whole lot more than just that too. Some comedians and stuff that came through his clubs. Lonzo deserves a whole lot more respect than just NWA. But yeah, he is responsible for Dre and Yella. So yeah, But they went off and did their own thing. So let's talk about where their story began at. And Easy.
it starts with Alonzo, right? Like, he was the one to open. He had the clubs. He had the studio. Come on, they probably wouldn't have been able to make anything if he wasn't around.
Yeah, and
he was
skate,
the
whatever
outlet.
the skate place, whatever down the street for me.
Yeah.
That used to be down the street for me.
Yeah.
That was,
And they was in his group too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
well,
So he was the one.
And then they broke off. And then they broke off and did their thing. That's all I'm saying. Then when they
In my opinion, he is the true. I ain't gonna say founder. He was the true support or the thing to help NWA, because isn't he also the one who introduced them to the Jerry Heller? I mean,
Easy.
he introduced Eazy-E to Jerry Heller.
Yeah.
And that's how all this shit came about, not without Alonzo. Come on, man.
Right. Spin that back one time.
Yes, sir.
That's right. That's real. I ain't knocking you at all.
Okay.
Because hey, like I said, Lonzo is the godfather of West Coast hip hop, straight up. Lonzo deserves his own show.
Real
his
talk.
own show. That's what I'm saying.
I agree with
I
that.
don't I just I'm not knocking anything. Yes, he's the reason for sure, but
Yeah.
I think he deserves his own thing because he was more than just, like I say, just founded NWA. You know, Eve After Dark, all this other stuff that he done did. He done did a whole lot. Yeah, but and then he let them in, do the little demos and everything. But then they took it to Donovan Studios out there and then did it, for real. You know?
Okay.
But
And then we gotta go ahead, Elpo.
No, it is what it is. Go ahead.
I was gonna say we gotta remember at the time, Ice Cube was what, 17 years old? Dr. Dre probably 18 or something.
Before then, CIA had a deal. That's through Alonzo. That's what I'm saying. Alonzo deserves way more props than this. You know what I'm saying? CIA. That was Ice Cube, Sir Jinx, KD, and I forgot the other, whoever else was.
Did you say what CIA stand for already?
Yeah.
You don't know? Compton in Effect.
No, it's not.
Compton in Effect.
And that's not even how you spell effect. And they wasn't even Compton. It was like Washington High School. It was.
I'm about to look it up.
It is not Compton, brother.
Listen, what is it?
I forgot.
I've heard the story hundreds of times. I know it's Compton in Effect.
Something in action. It's something in action.
Yeah, something in action.
Yeah, something in action. I can't think of what it was.
Yeah,
because I ain't really.
That'd be the wrong effect. That'd be the wrong effect if it was. But
says who?
It's E effect. A for action, E for end result. In effect.
Cube wasn't from no damn Compton. Everybody know that,
Compton.
bro. He was from over there. He was on the west side of LA. Yeah, over by Washington. On that
George
side, Western and Imperial. Western Imperial, that type of area, So as far, I ain't saying it's far from Compton, but basically, yeah, it's far from.
Yeah, it's
Compton.
pretty far. But so but shout out to those are the beginnings of the NWA. So to me, that was the backdrop to frame it. But we can talk about the fact that these cats got together and formed. Would you call it that? What they were saying, the world's most dangerous group.
Yeah, and I'm saying, what I'm saying is, Eazy album was great. Started off with the parade with In fact, let me find where I was.
Yeah, I probably should have pulled it up because I know specifically what I'm talking about. Because I was thinking to Take It Easy, but I think it was Easy Does It. So there was a few songs, but I mean, again, I love the fact that they incorporate the DJing and the mixing. What was you about to say, Floyd X?
I want to make a correction. I looked it up. It's not Compton in Effect. Y'all are absolutely right. The name of the CIA is I just had it right here. Where the hell I put it? Is Criminals in Action.
Thank you.
There you go.
That's what that was so wrong. He was feeling good about it too. Y'all didn't know Compton in Effect. Like, first of all, that's wrong on so many levels. But yeah.
All right, so yeah, Criminals in Effect.
Eazy's first album, Easy Does It. Great album. It started off with the Prelude, Still Talking, which is a great song. Which started off with DOC and Ice Cube talking crazy like they old men and everything. Great song. Nobody Move, Nobody Get Hurt. Ruthless Villain, which was MC Ren by itself. Well, actually, Eazy doing the little hook. That's all. Too Hard Mother. Yeah, I think that's Dre and Ren actually. Well, I don't know. Anyway, I forgot what that is. Boys in the Hood remix is on here. Easy Does It, great song. We Want Easy, great song. Easier Said Than Done, great song. Radio, great song. No More Questions, great song. I'm gonna break it down, great song. Easy Chapter 8, verse 10.
That's a prelude or X. What do you call it? The ending.
Yeah, he's just talking crazy on there.
Epilogue.
Whatever the hell it is, that's what it was. But it was a great album though. It's recommended. It's a very good album. That was the start of the NWA franchise right there. Well, not really the start, because you got to go on and say before even NWA, you had Ruthless Records going, and then you had JJ Fad, which actually sold and went platinum, I think, actually, and got nominated.
And financed a lot of this stuff. That JJ Fad was a big factor of the money that they had to do the stuff that they needed to do. So they were a critical component of this whole movement. So shout out to JJ Fad.
Yeah, JJ Fad was underrated, but they was super big with, you know, the whole thing. And then that Easy Does It album did go platinum. It got them on the road and everything. And then came Straight Outta Compton. Now look how many people on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got 6 because that dude right there on the left, right above the little parental advisory sticker, and right next to MC Ren, Arabian Prince. Yeah, it was another member. Didn't get no shine in the movie. Did they mention him in the movie?
I don't know, but I mean, again, this is one of those foundational behind the scene, persons that didn't get necessarily the credit as the other. He's a person that you don't necessarily identify. The people don't know about that type of stuff. But I mean, he was that dude, and he did a lot of stuff. His legacy, expands beyond just this.
Got a lot of pictures. I think he right there though. Yeah, he in this picture right here though. But yeah, it was a whole lot of cats involved in NWA. Especially that NWA and the Posse. When you see this picture here, see it was a whole lot of other people. I can't even name you all these people that was in there, but some people's up in here now. But yeah, so the iconic Straight Outta Compton. I swear this is an iconic album. What did you think about this album when you first heard it?
I thought it was a dope album. It's very clean. I definitely love the samples. That's the thing about it, like Boys in the Hood and Dope Man, they were kind of straightforward, just playing whatever, but just banging. But this is sort of like more of the kind of the hip hop that I was really into. So this was definitely my lane, music wise, not necessarily topic wise. But again, like I said, I grew up around this stuff, so I related to it after a fashion. It's just like when Ice-T says in that song, like a pit bull locking on the Doberman's neck. I mean, to me, that was so LA because of, all the dogfighting and stuff that went around. So it's something that resonated with you. It felt like local, you know what I'm saying? So that was up.
Yeah. Straight Outta Compton just picked up from where Eazy album had left off from. But this time you're getting the whole group all together in a sense. And they started it off with the first song, Straight Outta Compton. And you hear that, it's like, if you never heard of Compton, you heard of it now. And this got Compton known all over the world. Then the next song was Fuck the Police. The first time I heard Fuck the Police, I was in the math class at Jefferson High School up there on the east side. And it was this blood dude. He was cool with me. He had some headphones and he was playing it. And he let me hear it. I heard it. And I just laughed and laughed and laughed because the judge and everything and all that stuff, and how the dude was like, "Fuck you, you black motherfucker." At the end of it and everything, all just the characters and everything. It was just so funny, serious but funny. Great song.
At this point, we were driving and being harassed by the police on a regular basis. So this song absolutely resonated. This was a theme song. This is big. This was not like us back then. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was huge.
Oh yeah. It was like not like us. Yeah, it was without the internet.
Yeah,
this was
the internet.
This is not like us when people are just trading music. And you just riding around everywhere and you just hearing the same song just playing all over. Yeah. Gangsta. Hey, great song. What can I say?
That's what they're yelling. It's not about a salary. It's all about reality.
If it ain't rough, it ain't me, which is Ren going off. Parental discretion is advised. It's the first time I really heard the doc. Yes, he started off this song. And then 8-Ball remix. I like the remixes, don't get me wrong, but always listen to the original. The original is banging.
Yeah, so everybody was bragging about the drinks that they like. The Beastie Boys talking about Brass Monkey. He was bringing it back to 8-Ball. 8-Ball.
Yeah.
That old English.
That's what it was. I ain't hear nobody talk about no 8-Ball until these cats came around. That's what I'm saying. This is what the gangsters used to drink, so it's really what it was.
Yep, that's 40 ounce.
Something like that is Dre and Ren. Great song. Express Yourself is Dre by itself. This is the original right here. I prefer the remix on this one. This is one remix I do prefer.
And this is the one they had a video for. And this was when Dr. Dre was talking about he don't smoke weed or cess. So, some point happened that changed. he got converted.
Compton's in the House remix. This remix is actually good too because it gets to a certain point. They say, "Do you want some of this?" Then they scratch in. Hell no, he replied. That's hard. All right. Then you got Dope Man remix. Go back to the original. Quiet on the Set. Great song. That's your boy Ren again. Something to Dance To as Arabian. Well, that Something to Dance To is a great song. I used to hear this on Kiss. They had Kiss AM for a minute. Remember Kiss AM?
Oh yeah.
Kiss AM only lasted for a couple of years, but they was playing Something to Dance To on there. And they played it, this was a like up-tempo song and everything. But
and that's kind of that was his lane. That's when you think about Arabian Prince and stuff like that. A lot of these cats, that LA did have that up tempo, that thing going. So that was really the stuff that we almost kind of needed to dance to. We didn't have a lot of those slow dance, like on the East Coast and stuff like that. But yeah, that's why it was something to dance to.
Well, then he had another song called Panic Zone that it's on certain releases of it, like the early releases, but it's not on this one I got right here actually. But the thing is, that was Arabian Prince. But this one right here, they made it seem like they was going to cuss, but they'll say some other stuff. It was just crazy. It was a good song. It was a very good song. Then A Bitch is a Bitch is like on this extended version I got, but A Bitch is a Bitch came on the flip side of, I think it was either Express Yourself or Straight Outta Compton extended mix of something.
I'm gonna say it was probably Express Yourself, but that was the Ice Cube song where he just that was his.
I think it was a Straight Outta Compton extended mix. It was it was not like an EP. I think it was like an EP. It was like an EP or something. It had like a couple of instrumentals, and it had like A Bitch is a Bitch, and it had something else on there too. But yeah. But anyway, great albums. Straight Outta Compton. I recommend it, highly recommend it. Great song, changed the world. This is when you get the moniker gangster rap. This is when everything changes. If you do look at the movie, you see how they was protesting and running over their records and all that old stuff. All that stuff really did happen. These cats, that's why they called themselves after this the world's most dangerous group. They had an uproar, but I heard people cuss before a little bit, but these dudes, but not only was they cussing, because you had Too Short cussing too, but Too Short was just kind of cussing like nasty and stuff like that. These dudes made sense with they cussing. I say to myself, they can kiss my ass. Some stuff you would really hear somebody say.
These cats was getting like major play without necessarily a lot of radio play. Even though they would do is they have the filthy version and do the radio version. They'd have like a completely different version for their radio versions of the stuff. So they did do a lot of reworking the song. So
they surely did, and I think they was pioneers at that too. Honestly, in my opinion, because this is how they got on K-Day and stuff like that. But they had a whole lot of play without the radio because it was only K-Day that was playing them at that time. K-Day was the only radio station that played all hip-hop all the time. It was the first radio station that was strictly hip-hop, I think, throughout the whole United States. That's what I think. Mm-hmm. That's what I heard, and that's what I believe, and I'm going to stand on that. But either way, K-Day played them, but they got played in the streets without radio play because you was hearing all kinds of other stuff that wasn't even on the radio.
Hey, back then in Los Angeles, people used to compete with these super loud, Jeeps and vehicles and stuff like that. So, and you sitting there blasting music on the corner and stuff like that. I mean, nowadays, everything's all introvert, your headphones in your own world type situation. But back then, we play music and we shared music. So that you'd get a lot of music from the streets like that.
Exactly. You didn't just hear somebody playing it on their phone walking down the street, trying to rap. I don't even understand you cats out here these days playing your phone loud and talking loud on your phones. I don't even understand that. Yeah, we even had something called boombox, like a radio that you carried around and listen to music on. Yeah,
and you could hear it coming up the street. These boom boxes was no joke. You know, they took these big batteries, D batteries that, you know, they were humongous batteries, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, nah, and that was the thing. You'd be competing with your radio, how many watts your how many watts your radio got, whatever. So that was like a big thing. So again, like I said, back in the day, you got a lot of music on the street, because if some vehicle wasn't bumping and blasting and you didn't hear them a block away, someone on the corner was blasting with their boom box. So, you know, it was outside.
And when stuff came out, if it was hot, you heard somebody was playing it. Multiple people was playing it. So let's go ahead and move on a little bit. The next album release, or not even album, their next release was 100 Miles and Running. I don't even know if we got a photo of that one, do we? Let's see.
You know what? I didn't grab it. I should have grabbed it, but yeah.
Yeah, I should have grabbed it too, but yeah. But yeah.
Now technically, Ice Cube's first album dropped before this, right?
No.
Because they actually.
Oh yeah, the first album. Yeah, the first album.
They make a reference on here to something, you know. They talking about
exactly.
him. So you know.
Yeah.
So when we talk about NWA, go ahead.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Ice Cube did drop his first album
America's
right after Straight Outta Compton. Then came America's Most Wanted. Okay, yeah. Go ahead. You making a point about that?
Yeah. So you know, we talk about, when we celebrate the legacy of NWA, we're not just talking about, you know, the members, what they did under the moniker of NWA. These cats had stellar careers outside of NWA, after NWA. So when you talk about Cube, you talk about Dr. Dre. Now, Dr. Dre didn't break off yet, but Cube dropped one of the greatest albums of all time in America's Most Wanted. And, you know, he united the West Coast and the East Coast musically, you know, with that. So, you know, he did some big things. But he didn't call out NWA, even though he had some beef with Jerry Heller and all that other stuff. You know, he didn't disrespect him. But we're about to talk about something that happened on this 100 Miles and Running EP.
Okay. What happened?
So,
all right, let's go through them.
Let's go through the songs. So yeah.
Okay. Yes, sir. Let's go.
The first song is what the name is called, 100 Miles and Running.
Exactly.
Dope song.
Yeah, definitely super dope song. Okay. Then number 2 was Just Don't Buy It. That's just a nasty song Ren had. You know, go listen to it. It's a great song because. The beat is dope, just super dope, you know.
Yeah, it's nasty, but it's just, man.
Yeah, it's crazy production. Then Surprise Part 2, which really is just Fuck the Police Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Real Niggas. That's what you're talking about right there, right?
And this is a song where, you know, first MC Ren fires off a shot, you know, 4-1 or something like that. But then Dr. Dre says, you know, we started off with too much cargo. You know, but then something about Benedict Arnold.
So I'm glad we got rid of Big Benedict Arnold. Something like that.
So you know, and that was a shot fired right there. So and that's what set it off. Like literally, as I'm sitting there playing that album, playing that song, as I'm sort of like reminiscing and preparing for the show, I immediately had to dip over there to No Vaseline, which is arguably the greatest diss song of all time, where he just destroyed these cats for, you know, being you know, disrespectful. So that little joke, that little quip, you know, they got bodied.
Actually, I'm gonna tell you the truth. That song right there started off just dissing. Prisoner, like a hostage, yo, you should have covered your motherfucking head like an ostrich. It was just going off. It was just going off.
It was, the whole song. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah,
they got the nerve to cuss. Only reason niggas pick up your records is because they thought it was us. Oh man, come on. They was just dissing. Yeah, that was just dissing. Yeah, they was just because they was mad about his success with the first album.
And again, since he wasn't disrespecting them, you know, it really shouldn't have been like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can't tell grown-ups how to be, and I can't tell you behind the scenes how things went and how salty things could have got. So, you know, I really can't speak on that. But I'm just saying that, you know, they just because someone moves on and does their own thing, you ain't gotta just shit on what they do. But you know, they did, and there was some backfire, you know.
Q really wanted Dre to produce his album. That's what it was. I think Easy had a problem. You know, Easy and Jerry. You know, it's really Jerry. I don't know what it was, but yeah. He didn't really have no problem because, like you said, in the first album, America's Most, he didn't mention them, didn't have no subliminals, nothing. He just moved on, did his own thing. and they came back with him. And I don't even know why they did that. Yeah. But then after that, though, let's just keep it moving. Then they had the song called Commercial, which was just it was just promoting the album that was coming up, which was called Real Niggas, basically.
Well, the album was Niggas for Life.
Oh, Niggas for Life. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Yeah, Niggas for Life. I don't even have it up.
It's actually they kept playing it backwards and stuff. They wouldn't tell you what the album's called.
Yes, it's Evil for Zaga, whatever.
Yeah,
but spelled backwards, Niggas for Life. So
now somewhere at this point in time, we're about to go into this album. Somewhere around this, they had the incident on Pump It Up, where that NWA was promoting their album that was coming up, and the producers wasn't Sister D. It was the producers thought, hey, why don't we film like Ice Cube saying something, whatever. So they break away from it. So Ice Cube says some little thing, peace to the DLC and disrespecting. This is after DLC had his accident, and there was some issues. I mean, it got bad, and Dr. Dre caught her in the club, something like that, and I mean, he beat her. It wasn't just no slap like in Guilty Conscience. I mean, he was full on a grown man, ridiculous, abusive attack. And I was not okay with this. I was completely down with Sister D. And at this point on, I completely shut off NWA. I wasn't playing their records. I wasn't playing no nothing. So not only as a DJ, but just as a hip hopper, I was completely done with them. So I wasn't effing with this album that we're about to talk about. I've come back to it.
And to be honest with you, that kind of rubbed a whole lot of people wrong for a minute, for a hot second. You know how people are, though.
Yeah.
As soon as you drop something hot, they forgot all about it, And he settled the case with her and everything, but it is what it is. But that was an incident that did happen. It was a really big thing at that time. But then they dropped this new album called, like I say, Niggas for Life. So that started off with that same commercials track, dun 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 dun, which is a dope ass track. I love that piano. Then they came in with a song called Real Niggas Don't Die. Then Niggas for Life, man. The protest was like, oh man, it's just a skit. Just sounds so realistic, kind of like a news reporter getting shot. Then Appetite for Destruction, which was a great song. I think they had a video for this. Great
video. Yeah, they actually had a video that was like an adult version too. That was on like one of those. I think it was on the Luke. Remember Luke had the
Luke Peep Show.
The Peep Show. So then they had like the unedited version where you see titties, but it was a great. Honestly, I'm telling you, I was listening to this album last night, and I mean, they grew every time production wise, and this album it's ignorant, but it's incredible. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I'm kind of going through these songs is because they was just just the titles of them. Just listen to the title. That's how ignorant it was. It was just nigga this, nigga that, nigga that, nigga that. It's just all through it. They was making their point, but they overdid it. They really overdid it with this.
Yeah, that was another thing I wasn't cool with. I mean, even though I started off the Focus Up show using that word, I tend to avoid it. But I understand that that word is a different thing for us, amongst us, usually about certain things. But our best foot forward is just completely avoiding that word.
Yeah, especially the way they did with this. I'm just telling you, just be forewarned. If you listen to this album, you're going to hear the word nigga more than you would hear it in a Quentin Tarantino movie. Don't Drink That Wine, which is crazy. In fact, Appetite for Destruction, one thing I liked about NWA, they always had skits, even in between skits and stuff. Appetite for Destruction, by the end of that, they like, we're going to take this little smoke break, everything. They got a Parliament song playing in the background, everything. And then they go into the Don't Drink That Wine skit, which is the DLC, like, bitch, don't you know I'll fuck you up? And then he started doing whatever he doing this little thing. Oh, man, it's funny. All right, then Always Into Something. Great song. Message to the BA. Now, this is what they really call not Cube. Message to the Benedict Arnold.
Now
No
this is
matter
a
how.
play. Wait, this is a play on something because Ice Cube had message to the message to the Oreo cookie. So that was on Ice Cube's thing where he's like, here's what they think about you. So that's why NWA flipped it and did go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead. Yeah,
Yeah, so that's when
right.
they did the message to the Benedict Arnold. Here's what they think about you. And they're just talking about, oh, why was you running, your homeboys getting beat up and you was running away? Or how come you was, catching some this, that, and there was, this was like common news. We were hearing about, they was getting in the fights and, a lot of the scuttlebutt was they wasn't winning them. When I talk about they, I'm talking about Cube and them. So, I mean, that's just how it is. So, he was winning on the rap stuff, on the hip hop stuff, and they might have been winning on the thumps, but it kind of was what it was. But it was a crazy stuff situation going on. Him and Above the Law, they touched upon that in the movie and stuff like that. But it was crazy. And then they have I don't know if that was Michelet or sitting there talking about, saying that, yeah, he wanna suck on he's sucking on that East Coast dick. Why don't he come over there and eat on this Chicago pussy? It's just that was kind of like where they was, but it was crazy.
Yeah, and again using that beat, do.
And I gotta tell you, since we brought it up, let's talk about that. He couldn't get Dre as a producer, and Dre is a great producer. But I mean, the Bomb Squad. This was the Bomb Squad at the height of the Bomb Squad being what they was. This is a phenomenal production. Those first two albums are just amazing, and you can tell how they influenced Jinx afterward because he was a part of all of that stuff. And it just so shout out to the Bomb Squad. The Shockley brothers and all the components of that. So they were doing it.
Spin that back one time, because that's 100% truth. Yes, sir. Yeah, because Jinx got the best of both worlds because he's actually Dre's cousin too. So he got the Dre and he got that East Coast.
Shout out to Jinx. Jinx is about all of Sir Jinx. So he just, I mean, yeah, he was a integral part of a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and he's had his hands in a lot of classic things. You're talking about Coogee Rap. You're talking about Exhibit. I remember thinking Exhibit was like kind of like, oh, he's a solid rapper. He's a good rapper from Liquidation. Then he produced that one album. And I was like, whoa, Exhibit just kind of distanced himself from the rest of the crew. So, I mean, it's just, a shout out to Sir Jinx.
Yeah. Sir Jinx, man, we can do a whole show on him as far as I'm concerned. He used to be my favorite around this time. He was not this time, but around that time, what you talking about right there, yeah. He was like my favorite producer because I loved him. You know what I'm saying? The G-Rap stuff and everything. He was my producer. Anyway, so then you go into then they put Real Niggas on here again. Man, that's why I call it Real Niggas. Then they got the most ignorant songs sequence in here. To Kill a Hooker. Ignorant. That's just a skit, but it's just weird. It's just it didn't even make sense. One Less Bitch, and that don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Because they just wrong for that.
Yeah, they really dug into ignorance, and I mean, there was freedom of speech or whatever, and they were getting it. I mean, this is you talking about when they was talking about burning stuff and protesting stuff and hating on rap. This is like the key type of stuff they wanted to get rid of and fight. So
Yeah, they was really pushing the boundaries with this, and was like, and then it's kind of like where it is now with the ignorance, because this was actually foolishness and ignorance, and they knew they was kind of pushing the boundaries on this. They kind of even we'll talk about that in a minute, but they kind of changed their tone after this in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Dre still was talking like that gangster stuff, but it was a little different. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't really exactly like this because this was kind of like. Going a little too far with it.
Like I said, it was the combination of that and the D Barnes. I couldn't mess with this.
Yeah,
Phonics were dope. I could respect I always respect an artist for creating something that's great, and I don't bind the art to the artist, but as far as supporting it, that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, but just listen to I'm not going to even go through some of the scenarios they was talking about, but this is what I'm saying. This is how we knew to separate these dudes as artists. And not saying that, and not take them literally, because they was talking some wild stuff. It's like, man, I couldn't even get into some of that stuff.
Never do it now. This album could never happen now with everything going on. Just
but a lot of stuff that came after this, not from them, from other people, was pushing the boundaries even further. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about. You know, it started getting out of control because of this type of stuff, in my opinion. You know, like I said, you go listen to the album yourself and you tell me what you think. Find them, fuck them, and flee. Automobile was a little comedy song, but
Singing, all singing.
yeah, it's from a Parliament song called Automobile. You know, My Automobile, I think it's called.
So Eazy-E singing. Who's the other person singing? Do you know? I don't know. I'm just saying that, to me, I'm thinking like, is it one of the rappers? I'd be shocked if they're like, no, that's Dr. Dre. So I'm just like, who is the other dude? Because he's like really trying to sing. Like Eazy-E is kind of comically singing, but the other dude, he's almost like Biz Markie and Just a Friend. You know what I'm saying? He's laying down for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or laying out for it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. But
I don't know what the other dude is, but it's funny. The whole thing is funny though. I mean, yeah, I know what you're talking about though. I know what you're saying. But then, like I say, they imitating this. The song is almost exactly like that. But they was saying,
there's 2 songs on here where they're just singing.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So go ahead.
And then the next one is She Swallowed It, which is number 2, part 2 for Ren, the first one. That's
Just
the
Don't
one.
Bite
Yeah,
It.
another one. Yeah, that's Just Don't Bite It, part 2, basically. And I'd rather fuck you. Yeah, that's where he's singing again.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
It's all singing.
That's him doing a Bootsy song. I'd rather be with you. Then Approach the Danger. I didn't like that. I didn't like the effect that they used for this song. To me, I tried to listen to it. Now it's like I still don't like this song.
You're talking about the effect. You're talking about like the mics and all of this, the sounding of the phonics of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
To me, I dug it. I thought this was like, wow, this is really hip hop. Like, this is like underground hip hop type stuff. I didn't, even though they were like, they weren't mainstream. Mainstream like emulated them, so they didn't gravitate to mainstream. Mainstream gravitated to NWA. But I felt like that song kind of felt like kind of undergroundy, like, and again, I didn't hear it back then. I basically heard it for the first time probably like last night, and that I thought like, wow, I kind of dug it.
I never did like it. That's just me. 1-900-2 Compton. That's Warren G doing the little skit where he like going to jail. He in jail, calling up his whoever he calling up. She hung up on him. He's still fronting like he on the phone. And then The Days of Way Back, or The Day of Way Back, whatever. I love this song. This is like one of my favorite songs on the whole album. I'm like, why is this the last song? But actually, I guess it was perfect to end it. But yeah, use this famous Ohio Players hook, with the Players of Ohio. Players Ballin', I think the name of the song is. Yes, great song. You hit me up. You with me on that one?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And and that's a good way to set it up. I used to hate it when the first album, you listen to the album, the first song is just like banging, and now everyone else is sort of like suffering from not being as good as that. So you want to put something that grabs you, but you kind of want to end it strong too. So they did a good job of that. So I respect it.
Yeah. Great song. So that was a good album. So after that, like we said, they had other people. Everybody branched off. Dre ended up leaving. When Dre left, that was pretty much the end. In fact, that was the end of NWA. They probably tried to bring it back. Like, was that late '99, early 2000, somewhere?
You talking about with Snoop Dogg?
Yeah.
So, because they were talking about doing an album, but Dr. Dre is notoriously for, I guess, just wanting to do stuff, maybe too much of a perfectionist and just never finishing it out. So there's a lot of stuff that's been floating, supposed to have been dropped and never dropped. But they were talking about doing an NWA album, and they just dropped it at Hello, and what was the other one? It was 2 songs they did.
WA. I forgot the name of that.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the name of it.
I had it for a second, but yeah, nah. But they were solid songs. I mean, you got to talk about Dr. Dre. I mean, this NWA birthed that. NWA, Dr. Dre was before NWA, but still, this was he took those talents to Chin Check. Thank you. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Dr. Dre, he had the stuff with Aftermath, and that stuff didn't. Even though he did some great things, I mean, I definitely heard Phone Tap, love that, stuff that he did with the Firm and whatnot. But it wasn't until like the Chronic that he really kind of came back out again and really like reestablished himself.
Yeah, deep cover.
Whew, deep cover. Damn,
Yeah,
that's
he
just dope.
did the deep cover. Then he did his little thing. Then did the Snoop stuff. Yeah, and did the Death Row basically, and whatever he did there. And then went on to do the Aftermath. Yeah, he was super successful. Cube ended up being super successful because after America's Most, he dropped his EP and dropped his other album and did everything else he did and made
Greatest
movies. And
album, one of the greatest albums of all time.
man,
Talking
come
about
on.
Cube.
He
Hey,
got
Cube, that
one.
second Cube album, you talking about with he had the conscious side and then the ignorant side, and that's when he was sort of like had one foot in the
Yeah.
sort of like nation type knowledge, and then
Death
still doing
Certificate.
like his ignorant gang stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
Death Certificate. To
Yeah.
me, it's just one of the greatest albums of all time.
Yeah.
Even
mean,
though
he-
they gave
he-
me a about Summer Vacation.
Cube got one of the greatest album collections of all time, period. That's just
Yep.
what it is. Cube is just one of the greatest artists
His
that ever
discography.
lived, period. It's just, yeah, I mean, Cube is just, everything he's responsible for. That's what I'm saying. That's the legacy of NWA. Cube is part of NWA, and this is what it is. And then Ren went on, and his first release, Kiss My Black Ass, great EP, go get it. It's great through and through. You can listen to every song. It's only about 6 something like that on there. Go listen to it. Great album, great EP, great release. So you got that, and Eazy-E, of course, went on, did his thing, and had a stellar career until he died. He died in, what was that, 94?
I'm terrible with the passage of time, but I know that Yellow Boy, he was doing his things. He wasn't doing just music. He was also doing videos and films. What was it called? I think he called himself under the name moniker Yellow Man or something like that. These were grown films, by the way. So yeah,
Eazy died in 95. My bad. 95 for Eazy. Yeah. But from 92 to 95, let me see, 92. Yeah, 92, 95. That was only like 4 years. Eazy did his thing. Brought up other artists, even though he lost the DOC, which DOC was pretty much done anyway because he had got hurt.
Accident. Yeah.
Yeah. But DOC, great artist.
Great album. It's a great
DOC,
song.
yeah, he stayed with Dre basically. Him and Dre went off. They did the Death Row thing. He's still probably working with Dre to this day. At least he's writing. He's one of the coldest writers. He started off as a writer, so I can't imagine him not ending up as a writer. So big ups to DOC.
And he's supposed to be doing the album. He's going to be using that AI technology to basically, do his voice.
Well, shout out to the DOC for that too. Spend that back one time for him. That's what I'm talking about. If that makes you happy, DOC, make it happen. Because hey, I ain't mad at you because you're still one of the greatest rappers. That no one can do it better to me. In fact, then we got a logo on that one right here. Hold on, let me see. Listen, DOC album, where you at? That album right there, great album. One of the greatest albums. One of my top 10 albums in hip hop. I might squeeze about 15 into my top 10, maybe 20.
I know. Whenever I say top 5, just understand it's going to be more than 5. But yeah,
But that's one of my greatest albums right there. Love it, top to bottom. Great album.
Sampled my cousins on there, the Silvers. Well,
Hey.
actually, he sampled Foster Silvers, with the misdemeanor on there.
And this is the cover to one of those singles too. It's funky. Look, it's funky enough.
That's it. That's the song. That's the
Look
song.
at
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That
you
was
go.
the song. He sampled my family members from Memphis. We all came out from Memphis together.
It's funky. It's funky. It's funky.
Hey, Misdemeanor is a dope ass song.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. Oh shit. Oh god damn, that song is so dope, man.
Shout out to Leon Foster's, the one that really laid that out and then gave it to Foster. Leon Silvers, who gave it to Foster. It was
That's
potentially
his big brother. That's his big brother, man. Come on, shout out to Leon. Come on, Leon Foster, man. Shout out to him, man. Yeah, exactly. Man, shout out to him, bro. Because that man's responsible for a lot of music that y'all know that you won't even know who this man is. Trust me. Yeah. So yes, sir. Yeah. So that's what that is. But anyway, so then Yella had a cool little career doing pornos.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he did a big. He was illustrious.
But he stayed.
I'm not saying I didn't watch him. Not saying I did.
Mhm.
But when I was a transcriber, I remember that, it was very hard to stay awake. And there might have been certain, I may have had a bootleg device that played a lot of stuff for free. And I didn't have to drink coffee. I could just kind of like maybe watch this and work and type and transcribe and do all that stuff. So, it was a utensil.
Hey, one thing I can say about Yella, he stayed with Easy all the way. You know what I'm saying? Till he ended.
All the way.
You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing. Shout out to that man right there. He was instrumental with Bone coming up and getting big, So Easy stayed doing what he did. He was a record executive, but he still made music. He was good at that. You know what I'm saying? In fact, he was like besides Luke, he was but he was a little different than Luke because he actually was trying to rap. But all these other people like Master P and Birdman, all these other cats that's trying to, rap and even Puffy now is trying to rap and have a record label and everything. Man, Eazy-E was the father of that, in my opinion. I don't know anybody. I mean, it might have been somebody else, but just on that type of level, to me.
This is a great last comment by Brother Charles X. I mean, this is when the West Coast took over the game. The West Coast took over rap because of NWA, because of Dr. Dre and stuff like that. Ultimately the South took it over. The East started it. West, the Midwest had a little moment with it. The West Coast had a nice little moment with it. The South has just dominated for a very long time. It's just kind of what it is.
True. And you're right, Charles X. Yeah, the West Coast did take over.
Yeah, no, it changed it. That was when, and it's like you had like what, again, like I said, if I say that NWA is mainstream, that's not a knock on NWA. I'm saying that the mainstream aligned itself up with NWA. But then you had the West Coast underground movement, which you had like, King T, and you're talking about, Liquidation and his whole following. So you're talking about the Alcoholics, you're talking about, Loot Pack, you're talking about Exhibit, you're talking about Dilated Peoples, you're talking about the barbershop MCs. I can go on. We're going to do a show. We're going to do a Liquid show. You know what I'm saying? So, and Born Law definitely had those Liquid connections. But, I'm just saying that was a great time for the West Coast. You're talking about Ice-T, King T, and NWA. So, that was big.
Yeah. But you're right, though. I mean, look, this is when the West Coast, even with all that, too, the West Coast was the foundation and fundamental at this time. We was just it, and it did start with NWA. NWA did not shoot to be commercial or even accepted. They were shooting to be loved in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? That type of stuff. So when it got big and everything, it just caught on and people just gravitated towards it because it was really real stuff. Like I said, this was actually movies on vinyl, on tapes, stuff that you can listen to. You know what I'm saying? It was the Audible of the day.
Hey, when you talk about strawberry as a girl, does something for crack, that was just a common term. So they was using all type of terminology that was just regular terminology for us. East Coast has their own little special terms, and we got to learn that stuff. But all of the stuff they were talking about, them was just our usual words and stuff. So it was definitely something.
And when you say I couldn't stop you from getting ganked, then he said on one of them, gank means getting took for your bank or your gold or your money or something. He tells you what it is. You know what I'm saying? He explains it. So it is a reporter.
Exactly. Hey, and if you're gonna Google, I would definitely advise looking up Dr. Dre Rhodium, ROADI, whatever swap meet those mixes, and I'm just telling you. And I'm just telling you, those mixes they were master mixes. So there was many songs in like a very short amount of time. And I mean, it's a great way to spin that back to our era.
Yes, sir. And Dr. Dre, don't get it wrong. You cannot give him enough respect to say he was one of the greatest DJs on the West Coast. Not because he can get in the DJ competition, but the way that he can actually mix and blend and cut records, he was just bad. Trust me.
That's what it was. The mixing and blending, just masterpieces.
Exactly. And the Rhodium. Let me try to look up Dr. Dre.
Yeah, and the thing about it is everybody had it. People know him. There's a lot of old people that can just go through all the transitions and stuff like that. But I'm just talking about they cover so much music, not just the slow tempo or regular tempo, but even the fast trendy stuff. I mean, it just it was masterful. So Rhodium mixtapes and stuff like that. That was a big deal. So swap meets and mixtape. That was a big deal out of here. I don't know how it was on the East Coast or stuff like that, but I don't know where people got mixtapes and stuff like that from. But we did a lot of that stuff from other people sharing, and then from the swap meets.
Right. Did you get this last comment right here?
Oh, sorry. Without NWA, there would never be blockbusters at the movies like Boys in the Hood, Men's Society. They laid the template for that, the groundbreaking. So you're talking about, yeah, definitely.
Yes, sir. That's some real talk. I think that's about everything that we need for this one right here. So anyway, we appreciate y'all coming back through and staying with us this weekend. This is everything we got on NWA, but I tell you what, check back with us next week. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry about that, y'all. Sorry. We're gonna have to get out of here with the original. Sorry about that. Here we go. Spin that back. Anyway, next Saturday, 10:30 a.m.
No, I was saying he was sitting there talking about making him feeling old, talking about swap meets and stuff. So yeah, that's shout out to my brother. Hey, that's real. Swap meets was a big thing for us back then.
Yes, sir. This is what we used to do. That's what we do. We reminisce. So right here, we talk about hip hop from 79 to 99. Check us out. We get y'all live and get y'all some knowledge of what's going on in hip hop back in those days. Some nostalgia for some of y'all, and for some of y'all that don't know, now you do know. We finna be out of here though. All right, peace, and I can't even get out of here, man. You got to get me out of here.